Hello, everyone. I'm Christina, and I'm hoping that the quality of this live stream will be okay because even though I'm in Texas, Southeast Texas, it does seem like we've had a lot of clouds, like gray days, and we've got that Hurricane Ida coming in, which we're about to discuss tonight. So, if anything is going on buffering wise for you guys, let me know, okay? And while I'm waiting for everybody to come in, I want to encourage everyone who comes later to subscribe, hit like, definitely comment, and share this video. It's live stream. It's good to share while I'm online too. Hello, Sunshine. That's my girl. Good to see you here. All right. Well, looks like we've got a lot going on this afternoon, right? Because the title of this live stream is "The Morning Louisiana Sun Won't Rise," because tomorrow morning, sun's going down right now. Tomorrow morning, the storm will be moving in, and so they're not really going to get sunshine. They're already getting the winds right now. So I'm asking for anyone that's watching this to say prayers for everyone that's in the path of the storm, specifically Louisiana, Mississippi, and southern Alabama. All right. It was funny that I was telling people last time is, not to wait for them to call mandatory evacuations because of the traffic. And we see that traffic right now, but it turned out the hurricane is moving so fast and they weren't really able to predict the path of the hurricane in time to do mandatory evacuations orderly. So really it's really become what it is. They just didn't. This is the first time I've seen where they don't have a time to evacuate. But fortunately, people that are natives to the Gulf or have at least had this kind of experience before, they kind of know what to expect. And 140 mile per hour winds, that's pretty devastating. So even though the storm is expected to be a quick mover, it's also going to be a quick destructive one. Okay. Good evening, Christy Betts. Welcome to the live chat. And thank you guys for the thumbs up. Always love that and always love seeing you guys. Okay, we're going to go over a lot. Fortunately, we've had evacuations here in Texas too, and a lot of people got stuck on the highways and ran out of gas trying to get away from, I think it was Harvey. No, was it Ike? No, it was before then. It was before those two. Yeah, but I've just seen people running out of gas and traffic before, but so far I have not seen that. Seems like gas is okay. Intensity, wind, and rain is going to be really, really dangerous. All right, so even though it might move relatively quickly through the area, you can expect a lot of things actually to come back to. All right. You're going to see the normal things that you usually do. You're going to see winds up to 140 miles an hour, flash flooding, loss of electricity. And with that, there's no running water, no AC, no fridges or lights. So if you have solar backup or gas generators, this would be the time to start using those life straws. Any backup that you have, they have boarded up the French Quarter before they could leave. And some people, they just felt like it was too late to leave at this point and that they're just going to bed down. And in the midst of all of this, memories of Katrina are coming back in vivid detail for a lot of people. And they had gotten into the Superdome and the roof came off and the area was so flooded. And a lot of people died because of the situation that they were in. My grandmother, my dad's sister, and her kids were all from New Orleans, specifically Mandeville and Metairie. And they made it here for Katrina. But my aunt's husband died once he got here. He'd been on oxygen and he hadn't had it. The traffic took so long. So he made it to my dad's house in Texas, but he died shortly after. And you just think about how the levees broke and everything. But I believe it's the governor of Louisiana. She's saying that they've done a lot of work, that they've shut a lot of gates and It looks like their pumps have been improved. So hopefully that will make a big help with the amount of water, because like Houston, New Orleans is kind of a bowl too. It's in the middle of a swamp. Let's check and see how the comments are doing so far. Adrian's here. How you doing, sweetheart? Oh, it's always good to see you guys. Hello, C. Lynn. Good. Everybody is saying, is it happening on the anniversary of Katrina? Yeah, you know what's suspicious, Sunshine, is that like it was literally yesterday that Biden and the Prime Minister of Israel were meeting. I think, and then 24 hours later, we're like, there's a hurricane, and it's going to be hitting around where the New Madrid fault line, like the Mississippi River area, and that where it kind of starts and goes up. I think that's kind of weird and suspicious too. Suspicious, yes, it is. A lot of anniversaries going on. So what I'm going to do is I get a lot of my information from a website called Venture Sky, and so far, year after year with these hurricanes, it is accurate, and that's how I knew that it was going to hit New Orleans again, because I could see that on this thing. And right now, it is registering the wind speed on the outer bands that are just barely touching the tip of New Orleans are around 20 miles an hour right now. That's just a regular wind speed. Checking the wind gusts right there on the coast, they're already getting, 24, 26 mile per hour wind gusts. And this is just the beginning of the night, okay? Because things are going to get pretty hairy even before it's like fully onto the land. Because you look at the middle of this hurricane right now, and it's registering on its dirty right side 120 mile per hour wind gusts right now, and because it's intensifying, it's going to move into this, I'd say, Baton Rouge to Tallahassee, Florida area like a wrecking ball. I remember Hurricane Leisha back in 1983. I was like 8 years old. It destroyed my playhouse that my daddy had just built. All of the insulation was torn out from underneath our trailer when I was living in Crosby again later as an adult. Harvey came through, and those were the largest hurricane bands. And Crosby's really close to the coast, okay? I mean, it's Crosby, Baytown, and then Galveston. That's how close I am to the coast. And so I know what's about to happen. The wind, when it's screaming in the middle of the night and rattling the windows, and you're seeing things just cross the street. If you have garbage cans, you need to put them up. Anything that's outside, you got to put it up so it can't just blow away, because it will. All right. And possibly through somebody else's house. And it was Hurricane Harvey. All of the lights were out, and that meant all of the street poles, right? You couldn't see the road, only through like a reflection of the moon on the water on the road. And I remember hearing a car coming really fast down the road. But what this car driver didn't know, and he was going at least 70 miles per hour. You could hear he was speeding. He didn't know in this darkness that a brown wooden light pole had fallen across the road. And in that kind of darkness, you're not going to see the pole at all. You're just going to come off your axles. And I heard it hit that pole. Okay. So it's really just best not to be out driving. And I mean, I'm telling you, I cannot understand why all these years of living on the coast, why people still drive in the flood. Stop doing that. They always get it wrong. They don't realize that a lot of these underpasses dip down to get you to the other side. They're in basins. You don't want to drive there. If you haven't gotten to where you need to be and there's a lot of traffic around you, it's best to bed down where you are, or get to a friend's house that's maybe more structurally sound. But don't be driving when this is happening, okay? Hello, Teresa. Hello, Tammy. I know that you're kind of in the path, Tammy, and I'm hoping that you make it through another one. I'm praying for you, girl. I've been praying for you all day, and hoping everybody here is praying for everybody. Let me know how it's looking in your area. Let us know. So far, I've only been through gale force winds, and that was scary. I slept in the closet. I don't blame you. I remember when Tropical Storm Allison hit, we had railroad ties floating, and it was just a quick storm. But within a couple of hours, and I was younger at the time, y'all, but I was out partying that night. I had no idea that a storm like that was coming. When I came out in the middle of the night, when everything was shutting down, the roads were raging rivers in North Houston, where I lived at the time. And how I got home, I mean, I was just too afraid to sleep in a public place because we were all invited to stay, but I didn't know any of these people and what they were capable of. So I actually risked death to get to my apartment not far away. But all of the hospitals had to be evacuated. There was a friend of mine named Dino that was staying there at the time, and he had gotten into a really bad car accident, and he was evacuated. So those are the kind of things that you see when you're having these emergencies happen. Okay, you're gonna not just get the winds; they're already starting to kick up. Okay, you get the flash flooding, you get the people driving through it, the loss of electricity. This is where your batteries, your flashlights, your candles really come in handy. Your battery AM/FM radios. Okay. Walkie-talkies with the neighbors, you name it. Okay, that's when you need to have it. That is when preparedness is so important. Okay, and I like what the governor said. She said everyone is a first responder now. Okay, this is when you have to help your neighbor. You can't just wait for EMS. If you're around, you all need to help each other. Okay, and in the South we do that. All right. They expect flooded roads, 15 inches or more possible in the coastal areas. Expect downed trees. Expect those downed power lines. Do not be driving crazy after the storm. Expect tornadoes to break out. Roofs to be, you're going to find that there are a lot of tarps on roofs after this. You will expect to see FEMA coming out, taking all of your information and pretty much doing nothing. They might give you a tarp, okay? They already have set aside a bunch of response crews ready to come out once the storm has passed, okay? So you're going to see tree cutters coming in by the dozens. You're going to see hundreds of electrical workers trying to get everything back together as fast as possible. And it can take weeks, okay? And if you need some help with like evening out your yard because it's uneven, they need a place to bring those wood chips. If you have some low spots in your yard, have them bring some of that over to your house, okay? That's what me and my grandma did. Okay, we really did. It's awesome. Hello, AA strumming. I will do that, Tammy. Psalm 91. Remind me to do that. Yes, we will pray for your family in Mobile, Alabama. I hope they're going to be okay. Teresa, always good to see you. Hurricane Charlie, Francis, and Wilma. It's terrifying, isn't it, Adrian? Hello, Nicole. Just wanted to make sure I didn't miss anybody because I've done that before and I feel really bad when I miss somebody because I'm hoping that y'all don't think I'm ignoring you, and I'm really not. I want to make sure I say hello to everybody. Yes. So it is only 7 p.m. They're already feeling the winds. By 10 o'clock, the wind gusts will only be up to about 31, 34 miles per hour. All right. But as the clock starts kicking forward to the very next day, say, let's check 4 a.m. What is it going to look like at 4 a.m.? Okay, yeah. It's already starting to reach the shore, okay? And according to Venture Sky, the gusts will be at 81 to 75 miles per hour at that time, about 4 o'clock in the morning. So some people that are there aren't going to sleep very well. And if you do sleep, it might be your last night of really good sleep for a minute. The wind speed in the center, it looks like it's already at 84 miles per hour right this minute. Well, I mean, at 4 a.m. in the morning, with wind gusts up to 132 miles per hour on that dirty right side before it's even really come hardcore onto land. So obviously by 7 o'clock, 7 o'clock, when the sun was supposed to rise on that area, it really doesn't. You're going to have a very gray wind sideways, the kind of sideways hard wind that even if you have a brick home, it's going to go in through those weep holes and flood all of your carpet. Oh, I'm so glad you're here, Christy Harp. Oh, goodness. I'm so glad to see everybody here. Thank you, Lord. Okay, all right. Okay, so by 10 a.m. tomorrow morning, they're gonna be really getting hit. Okay, this is when, by the time everybody's up on the southern coast about this time, everybody's eyes are gonna be right here on the Baton Rouge, Metairie, Mandeville, New Orleans area as it's getting hit. Because we don't have much time. It is a quick mover, but these winds are extreme. You're going to have to really be checking on your neighbor, okay? And it's good to know that the hurricane is always dirtier on the right side. I want y'all to remember to treat all downed power lines as though they are hot and active and can kill you. Be very, very, very careful. I also want to remind people not to have their generators running in their garage or in their home. It will kill you. And lots of people do that. Okay, you can have a solar battery in your house. That won't kill you. But a gas engine, it will. Okay? So they do expect to rescue people and have search and rescue placed across 14 parishes, which are basically counties. My family, I know what parish we're from. See, and my dad's mom, they're all from there. On that whole side, we've been there for a long time. We're known as the Engelbrocks. They're in New Orleans. We've got a lot of those tombs for our ancestors, but I don't know how many are left after Katrina hit. But they will have a lot of people, a lot of crews waiting to come in. So do feel good about that. It's good to watch the traffic as you're heading out if you're looking for a last minute ditch. But I remember, I think it was Hurricane Ike, even late into the night, you could see the traffic coming into Houston because we're sister states, and we're in Houston and New Orleans are sister cities. So often they'll head here. I-10 is really the road that goes from Florida all the way, I know for sure, to New Mexico, possibly Arizona, but I can't remember for sure because I was like 16 and I've had amnesia since then. But I-10 is the highway of the South. And a lot of times people in New Orleans will start heading to Houston because a lot of times the hurricanes, they'll start heading more east if they hit New Orleans. So you don't want to go north or east when you're evacuating, when you know that's going to be basically where the hurricane is headed. Hiding in a closet is good. A lot of people like to hide in the bathtubs, especially in a place where there are no windows. Hold on just a second, you guys. All right. Also, they'll tend to put mattresses on top of you and the kids. Okay, and that saved a lot of lives. If you have a center room, a room with no windows, that's always good. Yes, they do a lot of price gouging. I've seen it. I have seen it at these gas stations. They will totally price gouge, and they do run out of gas. And that was something I was worried about, but I'm seeing that there are a lot of gas stations that do have gas, but I don't know how long that'll last, considering the emergency that we're in. Oh, that's a good point to bring up, Susie. Yes, a lot of people, as the water will rise, they will go higher and higher. But often, attics around here do not have sky windows or hoods that you can open. So a lot of people have been known to drown in their attic. So we need to, Susie and I want to make sure that if you have an attic and you plan on going up there, that you've already gone out to the woodshed and grabbed your axe. Okay? So that's part of your preparedness. If any of you are watching, all right? And if you have somebody that's a neighbor that you might want to bring, say maybe they forgot that, and remind them, hey, K King is here. Don't hide in the bathtub if you have it filled up with water. Right. A lot of people have their tubs filled up with water because you don't have water. I have survived 2 hurricanes. It was Hurricane Ike and Alicia, because we had pool water, just enough water to flush with, but it was really bad. A lot of times when a hurricane comes through like that, it's going to have a lot of water, but the wind is what's going to get a lot of people with this one. Okay, it's going to be like a bowling ball down the center of the aisle. It's going to be wild. That's what we do here when we have tornadoes come through. Grab the mattress and head to the hallway, right? I was telling my grandmother, she's like 84 right now. And I told her, I said, one day America's going to have a really big earthquake and we're going to feel it here too. And I said, now I know you've never been in an earthquake, Grandma. I said, but I need to tell you something. Don't get in the bathtub, because that's what she says. Well, I'll just go get in the bathtub. I said, no, Grandma. I said, for an earthquake, you get under your table or, in a framed spot in the room, usually between 2 connecting rooms, or in a door jamb, you just kind of get there. But you're right. It's just kind of one of those things I was bringing up, it just reminded me. I was like, just let my grandma know. Yeah, we don't get in the bathtub for that when it does happen, because we don't really have earthquakes here. We're not known for them, but we will. Good evening, Maccabeus. I'm so glad to see you made it too. That's wonderful. Put an axe in your attic. That's right. That's right. If there's anything else y'all can think of, definitely write it down. Water during the Texas blizzard, I usually have water, and I did. The problem was it was frozen. I'm used to having hurricane conditions, so our water isn't frozen. But no matter what, when it came down to it, I could have food. But if I didn't have water, I couldn't do anything. And after your 3rd day, your house starts getting, to that point where you're like, dang, I can't do dishes. I can't take a bath. I can't brush my teeth. It's pretty disgusting, So make sure that you have that water. Right now, we're not in that winter season, but water is the most important thing. So if you have your life straws, have those ready too, okay? Be ready to get out if you need to. Keep your family close to you. Teresa, I was talking about what's it called? An earthquake for the door frame for that. But you're right. You don't want to be in the door jamb when you're in a hurricane. Yeah, you can. A lot of people like to put tape X's on their windows because it keeps the glass from shattering across the room if the windows get blown out. It's also good to open a crack the window too, because there's an equilibrium problem with the air in the house versus outside of the house. A lot of times when these are happening, you've got to be aware of any sky turning green, sound of trains, because you will have tornado outbreaks in the middle of all of this. Under a table is best. Well, that's good to know. That's really good to know. Okay, let's take a look. All right. Shelters are in various places. They also made sure that they got nursing homes evacuated with buses. Stay alert on the road. So we're going to take a look at traffic right quick and see if I can find anything coming out of Louisiana. See how that's doing, because I know it was very busy earlier. Yeah. We're just going to hit mute on that and get past the 5-second little commercial ad here. Okay, looks like traffic on I-10 coming out of New Orleans has really freed up. So if you still want to get out, this might actually be a really good window. You won't be stuck the way you would have been just a few hours ago. The traffic is moving. It's moving pretty well down I-10. You can see it on the camera. So that's really encouraging. Those of you who might not have thought you have time, it only takes 6 hours to get from Houston to Louisiana, from New Orleans to Houston. Trust me, my parents and I made that trip many a times to go see Grandma and his sister and my cousins Tessa, Richie, and Wendy. I'm reading some of the comments. No hurricanes in Arizona. You're right about that. Trying to mandate the job, but the government said won't be mandated. Thinking of moving to Texas too, honestly. Well, come on, AA. We'd love to have you. Right. Come on. A lot of people are moving to Texas because of a lot of the insane things that are happening. And he's not only refusing to ban, he's refusing to mandate that jab. He's also the Supreme Court turned back the ruling for everybody having to, all the immigrants that want to come in need to stay at the border first. He's getting everybody rounded up that should not be here. And he's making sure that we don't have to deal with that cootie cure. And, Texas is about our economy. And I think that, while everybody has their faults, I think Abbott's doing a pretty good job, and I always want to pray for his health and his longevity, because, you're not going to get perfect in a politician, but he's pretty awesome. Yeah, he did. He sure did. And the mask mandate, none of that. Except for like maybe federal buildings, they can still do that, but no, we don't have that mask mandate. And they did come out, Israel did actually, came out recently with a study of their own saying that antibodies, are 13 times stronger than the cootie stick. 13 times more, far superior. Just let that kind of roll around. Yeah, the study's online. It came out like a day or two ago. I was, if you want, I can read it to you later. Okay. I'm prepared to move if necessary. Yeah, Kentucky and Tennessee both are on the New Madrid fault line, and that has been showing all kinds of activity that's been like just ramping up over the last couple of years for sure. And, the path of the hurricane is kind of interesting, Ida, and the ones that have come previously. Because if y'all remember last time, I was like, I wonder what's underneath there that's causing, because look, hurricanes are attracted to heat. Door Point volcano is right there at the toes of Louisiana. You know what I'm saying? I told y'all there are volcanoes in the Gulf. Plural. All right. I'm sorry, y'all. I think I'm suffering from some allergies or something right now, because they usually do like in the fall, in the spring. Definitely I'm not sick. Okay. Yeah, everything's been fine here all day. It's just, you can tell that the hurricane is really bringing us those lower temperatures, and that it's signaling that we're not going to be dealing with this blistering heat much longer, that fall is on its way. Yep. By 1 o'clock tomorrow morning, they're going to have wind gusts at the very tips of New Orleans. They're going to have wind gusts in the heart, about 114 miles per hour. Let me see if I can zoom in. Oh, wow. New Orleans, they're going to have wind gusts 68 miles per hour. We made it through Harvey in this RV. No kidding. No tie downs, no blocks. Just it could float away with us in it if it wanted to. Praise God for watching over us. But it was 60-mile-per-hour winds we were getting, and we lived through that. I can't say, but the other areas, like we were on highland, the water was a good 6 feet high for miles around after Harvey. Okay, so you're going to have a lot of intense flooding. You don't want to be going out immediately in your car driving around. It takes a couple of days for the water to subside. Plus, you don't know if any levees are going to break. Once you're in your place, stay there. If you have to bed down, don't just go running out and trying to check on the stores and seeing no, stay home. That's why we get prepared ahead of time. We get our water ready. We have our food ready. We have our first aid kit ready, our candles, our backup batteries, our AM/FM radios, you name it. This is what it's for. Okay. I especially want you to keep an eye on any one of your neighbors that is disabled in any way, maybe on oxygen, elderly, just anything, just make sure everybody keeps an eye on their neighbors. Hello, Sandy Maynard. Yes. And see, going out, Tammy's right about that. It's not just there in Louisiana, Tammy. It's out here in Houston, too, because we got a lot of those chemical plants and everything that's happened in the Gulf of Mexico. It has polluted the water really bad. Okay. And so when that water, like you've got your storm surges coming in, and the water seems like it's not just coming sideways and down at you, but it's also coming up at the same time. The water, oh my God, you do not want to be in that water. A lot of people like to go rafting. That's so 80s. Okay. That was okay back then. Not now. Stay out of the water if you can. I mean, unless you have to bail, some person's rescuing you, stay out of that water. It's really, really disgusting. Okay, fecal matter was detected in Galveston this summer. Okay, they've had flesh-eating bacteria coming out of that water. I'm not kidding you. Okay, you don't know that right here in the Galveston area, going across that ferry, it has a sign that says don't eat more than one crab or one fish of anything out of this water per year because it's so polluted. It actually has that sign. The gators, the snakes, the water moccasins like to come out too. Those are fun. Now, I tell you what, the alligators to this day, and alligators coming my way, I'm going to be like, hey, bub, get your gun. Because I'm sorry, an alligator tail, it fried up with some dipping sauce. That's delicious. Oh, that's right. All them Cajuns know what I'm talking about. Where y'all think I got it? I grew up in Houston and in New Orleans, back and forth, and even when I was little, we were stationed in Fort Polk, Louisiana until I was 3.5 and conceived in Baytown, Texas. So I got a really great taste of eclectic food here in Houston, as well as the Cajun food right next door. Alligator tail, bring it. I didn't know people. The tail. Yeah, we eat the tail. You just cut it in these little bitty strips, fry it, dip it in the batter, fry it, and then have it's kind of like a ketchup, mayonnaise, maybe a little Cajun seasoning in there kind of sauce, like the one you would use for like the bloomin' onion. That orange sauce, it's you use that one. You can use any sauce really, but that's like to me the best one. Oh, I'm glad you did. I'm so glad you did. Hold on just a second. I'm having a blood sugar drop. Hey, baby, son, would you mind bringing me some Reese's Pieces? No, opening them because I'm like totally having a blood sugar drop. We keep candy, and I get chocolate. Oh, I love chocolate. Oh, yeah, them frogs legs. My parents, they thought they were going to freak me and my brother out when we were young. We were teenagers. They opened the box. Like, I couldn't see they were frogs legs. I just grabbed them, dipped them in the ranch, and it was like, gumbo. Mm. And they've got these, I forget what they're called, but they're like these bread pillows with powdered sugar and honey. You get them at the French Quarter. Oh my lord. Oh my gosh. When the sugar hits me, it's like an explosion out of my eyes and all through my veins. It's awesome. Yeah, I know, right? People are like, oh, they want us to eat crickets. I'm like, chocolate covered crickets. Oh, yeah, bring it. There are just certain things, if you're from Louisiana, it's like, oh, that's dinner right there. Shoot it, Bubba, shoot it. Y'all remember that alligator show? Yeah, anyway. All the waterways are toxic. I don't go tubing or swimming anymore in the rivers or lakes. Yeah, I know. I grew up on the water too. I can't do it anymore. Humans have destroyed our earth. They really have. And you know what stopped me? I was living in Crosby as a kid, going to school, and we would get the flooding in our neighborhood, and we would go rafting. But then we encountered a bunch of ants that were on top of the water, and they had made a raft out of all the little dead ants, and they were stacked up on top. I ran into that, came running home with ants all over me. Excuse me. And you got to watch the snapping turtles. I think it was my oldest son put his finger in his mouth once. Yeah, he almost lost his finger. Oh, if you hit it with your car in Maryland, it's dinner. I've heard different things about possum. You know what I almost ran over was a dang peacock. You're right, son. Nobody in Crosby believed us until they started seeing him flying around wild. But yeah, we were going a good 50 miles an hour, and this thing just struts out all cocky and just stands there in my lane. And I was like, I was afraid it would. That was a big peacock. It would have hurt my car. I had kids in there. I didn't want to die. Oh, alrighty. Okay. Yeah. We've got a long night and a long day tomorrow. We really do. We're gonna welcome everybody that comes into Houston, and hope everyone behaves themselves. Other times they have not. A lot of crime tends to go up, but we want everybody to be safe and respectful, and we'll get you through it until you can get back home, because it could be a while depending on what happens with your specific property. Okay, when you're having 105-mile-per-hour wind gusts at 1 p.m. tomorrow, some of you might not have anything to go back home to. So thank you, B. Ran. Welcome to the live stream. You got to learn to shoot your own snakes. You know what? My daddy did that. I couldn't understand why when he did it. I don't know, it was about 10 years ago. And he's the one that was in the Army. And so when I found out he had done that, I was like, Daddy, you were the one who taught me gun safety. Why would you shoot at a snake? Now, listen, this thing was in the culvert, in the ditch. It was in the concrete culvert. You know, that bullet ricocheted and shot him through his head. He dropped, neighbor saw him, and somehow it missed all these vital parts and everything. And he's alive to this day, no damage or anything. But I was like, Daddy, seriously? Seriously? I was like, I should whoop your butt for that. You should know better. Yeah, I personally wouldn't shoot a snake. We did much better with them hoes. It's long stick, and for some people don't know, it's not something that just walks across the street for money. There's an actual hoe. We just cut its head off and pretty much stay away from it until it stops wiggling with those nerves. Oh, good. Glad I try to make this where you can listen, because you could be in traffic. Yes. Okay. I'm going to make sure that I'm done with all of the, you know what? I don't have to make sure of anything. What I'll go ahead and do is, especially since it's Tammy, I know where she's at. I'm going to go ahead and pull up Psalms 91. I like to stick with a KJV version of it. That's my favorite. Okay, y'all. Psalms 91. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, he is my refuge and my fortress, my God, in him will I trust. Surely he shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. He shall cover thee with his feathers, and under his wings shalt thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler. Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flieth by day, nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday. 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. Only with thine eyes shalt thou behold, and see the reward of the wicked, because thou hast made the Lord, which is my refuge, even the Most High, thy habitation. There shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling. For he shall give his angels charge over thee, to keep thee in all thy ways. They shall bear thee up in their hands, lest thou dash thy foot against a stone. Thou shalt tread upon the lion and adder, the young lion and the dragon shalt thou trample under feet. Because he hath set his love upon me, therefore will I deliver him. I will set him on high, because he hath known my name. He shall call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. With long life will I satisfy him and show him my salvation. It's beautiful, isn't it? No matter what's coming our way, God's got us. He's either got us here in life or he's got us in paradise. Either way, we're okay. All right. This is why we prepare for anything possible, our hearts, our homes. And this is why we love the people around us while we have the time. We don't want to be those people at the funeral going, wow, I wish I would have spent more time, with this person. I wish I would have listened while I had the chance, because you never know, tomorrow isn't promised. But while it is, we have a protector. We have a father, a real father. It's not just some title because he's a creator. He is, at his core, a real father. The father you never had. The love that you recognize in your spirit but may have never known in this life. He's got you. And it's always a good time to get to know his son, Jesus. Because it's only through his son can you really come to the Father, because he is holy. And Jesus can cover those sins so that you can be in the presence of Father and he can dwell with you. Okay? All right. See how we're doing. Houston is humid. Dallas is expensive. That's very true. But K King, I've grown up here my whole life, and I took a vacation with my parents. We drove clear across West Texas into New Mexico. And I, having grown up in a water-based atmosphere, felt like SpongeBob out of water. I immediately started drying up. My lips split into ribbons within 24 hours of being in the desert. I was completely not okay. So, on the contrast, people that are not from humid areas, when they come to Houston, they cannot breathe. They feel like they're drowning. So for me, I really have to stay around a lot of water in order to feel comfortable. Hello, Sandy Maynard. It's so good to see you. Glad you can make it. Healthcare workers in Texas don't need to get the jab either. I have some friends I would like to inform too. They might want to move and avoid the jab too. Yeah, it was Houston Memorial that was, they were doing that mandate though. A lot of nurses quit. And now they're like, hey, we need help. Of course you do. Maybe the nurses that were good a year ago are still good now. And, by the way, all this talk about antibodies. A friend of mine that lives close to Huntsville, he sent me a message yesterday saying that he had been contacted by email by a group that is studying antibodies. You don't see that in the news, though. But there, all of a sudden, there's this interest in antibodies of people probably, I'm suspecting, that have had the cooties and recovered. I bet that would be a special interest, because really that's the only way you can get antibodies, right? And people forget. They go, well, how long do the antibodies last? I'm like, have you ever heard of genetic memory? You don't always have a plethora of white blood cells until you get an infection. But anytime you get an infection, it knows to do that. That's genetic memory. I'm keeping my blood, you vampire. No. Yeah, I know, right? It's so creepy. Give me your blood. Ooh, no. I'll keep it. I have to have stuff on that at all times. Grew up in Arizona. All right. We're just gonna look, see if I've actually missed anything other than the fact that the Supreme Court has ended the moratorium and says that what Biden did was illegal. But on an interesting note, like we were talking about how the temple, it just seems like you can just in the air that the temple, they really, really have so much ready for that temple, like the bombs and the lamp holders, and I'm talking everything. But guess what? They were looking in Texas because this farmer had like 5 red heifers. Five of them born. I think that was it, 5 or 6, on one ranch in 1 year. And they were just out there inspecting. They asked permission if they could come out there. They come out, these people from the Israel Institute or something, come all the way over there inspecting his cattle. Which, the rancher was just ecstatic. He thought that was just amazing and definitely something special. But I mean, who knew that they'd want to travel all the way across the world to maybe find a red heifer? Because I know they've been looking, but I mean, 5 of them on one farm in Texas. Maybe God's shining his eyes on, maybe smiling on Texas. I hope so. God bless Texas. The archaeologist. Okay, it's on YouTube and he has a book on it. Think of Bob Cornick's video series about the true location of the temple. I haven't really worried about that too much, because from what I've always known is that the temple that's supposed to be built, the one that the Bible is talking about, is in Israel. So I'm pretty sure they're going to figure out exactly where that is. But that's my hard belief on that no matter what has happened in this world, anywhere else, the temple I'm looking for is in Israel, period. So I really haven't felt the need to look at that. I just know that it's something that I'm going to see in my lifetime. Wherever it ends up, that's where it's supposed to be. As far as in Israel, I know they'll figure it out. I know they will. They've got everything else figured out except the terms and conditions. And then you see that Naftali Bennett's out here hoping that he can continue a strong relationship with the United States with a man that readily betrays people, even his own countrymen. And so I'm like, And the timing of Ida. I mean, wasn't it Katrina when came through when a president was talking, having some conversations about Israel at the time, and then boom, here comes Katrina, and it's like, okay, now Naftali meets with Biden, and 24 or 48 hours later, here comes Ida. I mean, it's just kind of these weird, suspicious timing things. City of David, not the Temple Mount, and that the Antichrist temple might be on the mount, but the original location wasn't. Yeah, I've heard so much about that, AA, like the exact location, that it was just one of those confusing things to me. I really don't have the education some of these people do in that arena. So I try not to comment. I'm just like, okay, I do know the prophecy unfolds perfectly. So I just kind of left that alone. You know what I mean? Temple by Bob Cornuke is on YouTube. Is a half-hour video. I'll definitely check that out. Absolutely. Okay, awesome. You know, Clarissa, I think I've had it like 3 different times now, and every time it's easier and easier. Like the first time I was down for a week, the second time for 3 days, and the last time not even 12 hours. Red Cross will check you for antibodies if you donate blood, but you have to ask. Yeah, well, they were the same people that were saying that they don't want the blood of people that have been jabbed. They want people with natural antibodies, but they definitely don't want the blood of the jabbed because it's tainted. All their red blood cells are like stacked on top of each other and attached like little coins. Got structures in the blood I've never seen before. It's okay. I will have to check all of that out. All of that. All of that. Okay. I think we've pretty much gone over over everything. And I just want to make sure that everybody is prepared and that everyone else is preparing prayer wise to send angels for everybody that's still there. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and get off the phone with you guys. And I've got some Hasselback potatoes, lemon chicken thing going on in the oven that should be ready right about now for me and my kiddos. So love y'all. God bless you. I'll be praying for all of you. Thank you for coming, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.